Hey, it's Bear. Gonna share a story with y'all today. So, over the past weekend, there were a lot of people that came up to the lake. They're actually closing their cottages down for the year, many of them. And I was visiting next door to one of my neighbors that was up, and we were sitting and discussing, just catching up and everything. And we noticed a monarch butterfly, and it came from the opposite side of my house up between the house that I'm next to and mine. And it came out and it fluttered down to the lakefront, which is probably about 20 yards from my house. And it flew across the lakefront. And when it got to where I was sitting with the other women, it came around and came up and over our heads, then back down and over to the lake side. And it landed in some cattails. So it was kind of interesting, and it just caught our attention because it was by itself, and it was just kind of odd to see it where it was. Well, what was even odder is it turned around again and it retraced the path that it came to where we were, all the way back down around and in between my house again. It went over our heads. It did this 6 times. So we watched it, and all of a sudden, here it comes out again, out front of my house, across the lake, over our heads, down back to the lake, and into the cattails. We couldn't figure out what it was doing because there were no flowers there, and it wasn't getting into the water. It was just sitting on top of the cattails. We never did figure out why it was doing that. So it did this 6 times, and I would put it at an equivalent to a human walking about a half a mile one way and a half a mile back. So, you're talking about scale, right? The size of what this butterfly was doing. But it kind of was intriguing, and, we all kind of chuckled about it. And so, as we all went about our day, I had come back to the house. And what I do, because since I've caught COVID back in 2020, I've had issues with brain fog, I guess is what they're calling it. And so I do crosswords and all that kind of stuff on my tablet a couple times a day just to keep my mind sharp and my vision and what I'm following and things. So I sat down to do that, and I put up this app that was on, and I started to work it, and all of a sudden it was covered with butterflies. Butterflies. I've played this game since January, or this app since January, and I had never seen butterflies, but butterflies showed up. So I was like, wow, that's wild. Just saw a monarch by itself, and now butterfly shows up on my tablet. So I was just kind of laughing and thought, yeah, okay, that's kind of odd too. So I kind of went on with my day after that, and when it turned to evening time, I was getting ready to just chill, and I just wanted to see something very mindless, trying to put my mind so I could start to close down to be able to go to sleep. So I put this movie on that was on Netflix, and no, I don't remember the name of it, but it is really good, and it's a story about a young woman who saw her boyfriend get hit by a car as he walked out of a coffee shop, and a drunk driver hit him and killed him. So she was grieving, and for 2 years this went on, and so it's a story about that. But what was also very interesting is the character she played was a child's book author, and she wrote about this one character, and the character was a caterpillar. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. And she's an artist, and she's drawing all these characters for her books. And so as the movie goes along, and Celine Dion's in it too, so she's talking about love and loss and all that kind of stuff with the characters that were in there, and telling them her story. And so next thing you know, you go through this movie, she's grieving, and at the end, you guessed it, the caterpillar finally was reborn to be a butterfly. So, butterfly. And I hear in my head a lot of different things. And what some of you may not know is my partner, the wolf, passed away in 2020. And one of her big things was butterflies. And that's also how she spoke about her daughter, one of her daughters, her oldest daughter. And so I got a lot more information, and it doesn't matter. It just resonated like in a very big way. So the next day, it was still in my head, and I was still getting told, you need to call her, you need to call her, you need to call her. So I did. I called her oldest daughter, and she's pregnant with a boy, and she's due on my birthday. He's due on my birthday to be born. So I kind of had a laugh, and I shared the information with her daughter, and it hit at the right time. She was supposed to hear it. So the whole reason I'm telling this story is I actually saw an acquaintance of mine on social media ask about, what do you think about psychics, mediums, blah, 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 about can we really speak to the dead, or can we connect? Is it good or is it bad? So that's why I want to get this out, because spirit isn't bad. Our loved ones that go to the other side still love us. They still continue. And that for me is not faith. That is truth. It is my truth. And a lot of people get so focused on, they want to hear, like picking up a phone and calling your loved one, or, you know, on the other side to get an answer for something. And what we don't realize often is they are around us, but because we're so focused on what we think that communication should be, that we often miss the signs of what it is. The wolf is gone and contacted me many ways through many different things, and she's doing exactly what she said before she passed. She said to me, I will haunt you. And I guarantee she does. And this is not to say that there aren't things out there that go bump in the night that might not be great to be around. But if you put out positives, positives are what comes back. So remember, the caterpillar transforms into that beautiful butterfly for a reason. Just as our soul, when we leave our bodies, also transforms into that next phase of beautiful energy. All right, so I hope you guys get a kick out of that, and I really appreciate you listening, and I hope it just kind of gives you some validation. All right, you guys have a blessed day, and until next time, we're out.